on this extraordinarily beautiful morning. It is my pleasure and my privilege to say a grand rising to you all, beautiful people. I am Reverend Vicki Jeter, your minister and spiritual director for Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter. And I must say that today has been extraordinary. The morning started out as we were preparing for this service, and we got through, because we do like a trial run for everything, and we got to the end of it, and I said to Berna, I said, oh my goodness, this is going to be a heart opening day. And so we got to this point today because the mystical, magical feeling of last Sunday's celebration of Passover Earth Day has paved the way for this equally special service today, which actually is twofold. Because first, we have our beloved Reverend Ray with us today. Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson is with us to fire up our motivations to take all of this that we've been doing to the streets. How do we put that fourth tire on the pavement and move it? And then after service, the magic continues this afternoon with the fulfillment of Louisville Center for Spiritual Living's first annual pet blessing, which most of you will recall we have been naming and claiming for just about exactly a year since our practitioner Tammy Ellis first got the inspiration and said, you know what, I've done many of these in person, but I believe we can do this on Zoom. And we can, and we are, and so you're welcome. About 12:15 this afternoon, the pet blessing will begin. And just so that you know, this is being facilitated actually not only by Tammy Ellis, but also by our practitioner, Tammy Evans, and they are raring to go. And also, Tammy Ellis is our practitioner of the week. And so today, as you know, when we have special events, our practitioner of the week doesn't actually do individual sessions right after, because sharing time after service will be truncated to 15 minutes. And then about a quarter to the hour, about a quarter to 12, we will shut down this Zoom, which will stop the recording. And then we'll have about 30 minutes to go and take care of ourselves. Now, Vernon will open back up the Zoom right away. So you come right back on the same Zoom to come to the pet blessing, and we'll continue from there. And Tammy Ellis and Tammy Evans will take over. So with all of that being said, now, my goodness, am I ever grateful for using our tools. Let us take that pausing breath and allow all the energy that's already been in this room today to settle down. Drop in to that gap of grace, which we know to be the place of first cause. And as we come into being settled, I invite each of you first, turn your attention to your understanding of spirit, the omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent by any name, and see what brought you here today. And with that in mind, absolutely, our collective intention today is just to ride these waves and trust that we have this magnificent being, Reverend Dr. Ray, to lead the way and be the one who is breaking the waves so that we can follow in his wake wherever this is taking us. And so with that, we turn to opening prayer as I recognize the one that is just having a field day right now in the omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. We are one, unified, individually and collectively. And as we are one, I realize that the glory of God is the fulfillment of love, and this is a glorious moment. And that is all that need be said right here and right now. So I release it, I let it be, and so it is. And so I do officially welcome you this morning to Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter, where we welcome all paths to God. We welcome your questions. Whether you're here for the first time or whether you're watching us on YouTube, as has been so energetically reminded us by Harry this morning, thank you for being with us, and you are why we are here. And what a way to fulfill a mission and vision. The mission of Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter is to teach personal transformation as a virtual community, living the principles of science of mind and celebrating all paths to God, which manifests our vision of a world that honors and respects all people. And of course, we know that all of this is only as good as can actually transform your experience. And so we have an application of what we believe every week, an application of principle. And this week, our application of principle is healing is the only pathway to real justice, because it requires that we take an honest look at what harmed us and pushes us to restore our humanity, and finally to move us confidently into a possible future, which is by Sean Ginwright, who wrote The Four Pivots: Reimagining Justice, Reimagining Ourselves. And now it is my pleasure to turn this over to our practitioner of the week, Miss Tammy Ellis.
I am honored to be the practitioner of the week, and I found a beautiful reading. This is from the Science of Mind, the Centers for Spiritual Living monthly magazine in April by Reverend Jane Beach. And it's entitled, Let Love Lead. The God of my understanding is the energy of love, powerful, gentle, ever present. It wants nothing more than to dance with me, the one whom it created. Sometimes love comes to me softly. I don't even notice it. This may be true for you too. When was the last time you noticed the breeze running through your hair or a song on the radio that made you smile and joyfully sing along? It's the God of your understanding reminding you it's in your life always, tugging at the shirt sleeves of your consciousness, trying to get you to notice it. It's easy to say, that's not love, that's the wind, or that's someone deciding which music to play. Well, where and what do you think love is? It's everywhere, in everyone, and it's invested in your happiness and success. It's the whisper of running water, the scent of a gardenia, the pop of a jar as it finally opens, the guidance of your intuition, your ability to make it through a hard time. It's as if the beloved is saying, I come to you in as many ways as it takes for me to notice. So you'll know that wherever you are, I am. Knowing God as love is a powerful thing. It taught me that the world is a great place. I have much to be grateful for, and life is on my side. My prayer is that you find your own dance with love, a dance that's personal to you. In every moment, you are held in love's grace, for you are its cherished one. It's safe to expect doors to open for you. Your job is to let go of how it will happen and what the results will be. The universe is making the way possible on your behalf because God thinks you're magnificent. And you let love lead, get on with your day, and enjoy every unexpected delight, secure in knowing that your highest good is in process. That's the way the dance works. And now as we take a nice deep breath, a couple nice deep breaths as we move into meditation, just allowing your body, your physical self, just to relax into your chair. Ah, just opening our hearts and minds to these words, if you so choose. As I read each sentence, I invite you to take a nice deep breath in and take in what is for you today. As I accept the action of love in my life, I bestow the essence of love upon everything. I allow this love to be a healing power, touching everything into wholeness, healing the wounds of experience with its balm. With enthusiasm and joy, I embody and accept love in my thoughts and acts. And the perfect action of the law makes love manifest in my experience. Everything is beautiful and meaningful as I accept and express love in every way. I feel and express the love I share with my fellow human beings and our animal friends. And this beautiful meditation was provided by the book Creative Ideas by Ernest Holmes. And so it is. Please enjoy this beautiful music, Taking It to the Streets by the Doobie Brothers.
You don't know me, but I'm your brother. I was raised here in this living hell.
So, oh my goodness, recognizing the entire spectrum of the human condition. I am certain that Ray is sitting there going, there is no need for an introduction. You all are my family. And for the benefit of people who might be engaging us for the very first time, we do want you to know that our theme for the year is a grand rising. Our theme for April is giant gentleness. And within that, today, we wrap up by taking it to the streets with Ray Anderson.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, it is an honor and a pleasure to be with you all. So let's breathe for a second. So I want to start off with, I didn't plan on starting this way, but that last song, there's this one line in the song, you don't know my kind in your world. So when we say, you don't know my kind, I am one who studies science of mind and spirit. You don't know my kind in your world. What does it mean to navigate the collective consciousness in the world of that being who and what we are? Because we could switch that out and say, you don't know my kindness in your world. You don't know the level of oneness and unity that I represent and embody in your world. But because I am willing to take it to the streets, you will. Breathe. So that's what we're talking about today, right? Taking it to the streets. Now, based upon a lot of things that are going on in the world, it is very easy to identify various things that are considered divisive. There are many things where people separate and segregate themselves based upon ideology, religious affiliation, political affiliation, etc. There's a lot of that. Now, some have said we are in fact living in the most divisive time in all of human history. Now, whether that is in fact true or not does not matter. What we can recognize is true is that because of the way media is and how readily we have, the ability to make access of it, the ability to connect with it, the ability to read it and watch it, etc., it's very accessible. We get those messages, and yet, regardless of those messages, remember what did I just say? You don't know my kindness in your world. And the great news is that regardless of what is going on in the collective consciousness in the world that has war, the world that has toxic capitalism, the world that chops down those trees that Pocahontas was like, you're never going to know the beauty of nature if you destroy it. Regardless of that, or in spite of that, the great news is that fundamental to this teaching, fundamental to science of mind and spirit is love. And when we get really anchored in this action-oriented love, then, which we all have access to, then we are far more capable, ready, willing, and able to do the healing that we are called to do. We are able to step out in harmony and justice and equity. We are able to honor all kinds of diversity, and we are able to show up as the living embodiment of spirit. Because as Meister Eckhart says, between me and God, there is no between. Breathe. Now, the difficulty seems to be, well, how do we do it? How do we take it to the streets? Especially when we look at our world and there are so many places, even within CSL, various CSLs are siloed and separated. Many of us, due to that thing called COVID, we experienced isolation and separation. And yet, if I ask you, within God, is there separation? Can God be separated from itself? No. So we may feel separated. That may in fact be a legitimate emotional response, a legitimate psychological response. And yet the truth is that that which we are cannot be separated from itself. So if we're going to take it to the street, then let us be mindful of what Dr. Holmes says. Life is not only where we are, it is what we are. Breathe. There is only one life, and that life is the infinite. And that life is not where we are, that life is what we are. It is in us, all around us. It is what we are. And the whole impulsion of love is what we are. The universe does not rest on the shoulders of love. Love is the real lodestone of life. Now, if I were to ask the million-dollar question, what is a lodestone? What does that mean? Well, for those of you who may not know, lodestone is something that possesses magnetism. It is something that strongly attracts something else. Love, Dr. Holmes said, love is that lodestone. Love is that magnetic force that draws unto itself. Love and life and joy and bliss, health and well-being. So if love is that lodestone, and Dr. Holmes also says the principle of love is the great transforming power. Love transforms. And that love that transforms, that love that heals, brings everything into harmony. That's what we're talking about when we say take it to the streets. But for the sake of conversation, let's play, because you know Reverend Ray likes his words. When we use this thing called take, we use it in a great many ways. Take your medicine, take me home. I plan to take that class. He's on the take. The actor nailed it on the third take. The word is readily accessible, often used, etc. But when we're talking about this idea of taking it to the streets, we are talking about putting the teaching into action. To do, to behave, because the it is our giant gentleness. The it is compassion. The it is connection and unity. The it is peace. The it is science of mind and spirit. So we know we're taking it, we are living it, we are moving it, we are behaving. The it is all of this. Then so where are we taking it? Into our daily lives, into our relationships, into all of our activities. All of our activities. Doesn't matter if you're shopping, driving, gardening, in the bathroom, reading the newspaper, wink, wink. Doesn't matter what the activity is. Take it there. Take it into all of our conversations. Because the only way we're going to create a world that works for all is when we take it to the streets. Right? That's what it means. And if you don't believe me, then what about what Dr. Holmes said? You are religious science. I am not. I am only one who put something together. I don't even take myself seriously, but I take what I do very seriously. You are religious science. Our ministers, our teachers, our practitioners, our laity, our community. You are religious science. You find me 1,000 people in the world who know what religious science is and use it and live it as it is. And I myself shall live to see a new world, a new heaven, and a new earth. He's using those words, but those words are a world that works for all. So the invitation, he said, find me 1,000 people in the world who know what it is, use it, and live it. So the question is, if we're going to take it to the streets, do we know what it is? Do we know how to use it? Do we live it? Because if you were going to go to a dentist and the dentist said, yeah, I just started dentistry. I don't even know what it's called. I just started school to be a dentist yesterday. Open your mouth. We would be out of that dental chair with the little bib as fast as lightning. We wouldn't sit there and be like, oh, so you've been a dentist all of what, 3 hours? No, I just started school. Wow, I've got an appointment with, I don't know, somewhere else, not here. And we leave. So we want to know that the person we are being with knows they have the skill, they have the mastery, be that a psychologist, a therapist, a car mechanic, someone who's going to fix the air conditioner. We want to know that they know what an air conditioner is. Don't come in my house to fix my air conditioner and you looking in the microwave. Wait, what? Religious science. Do we know what it is? Do we know how to use it? Do we live it? In other words, do we walk the talk the walk? Okay, I'm a little bit confused, Reverend Ray. What's the difference? What's the? Well, oftentimes we will speak the language of science of mind and spirit. We speak the language of unity and oneness, and yet, if we speak the language of unity and oneness, but CSLs around the world are still separated, segregated, and siloed, then somewhere we are not practicing it to the degree that we could. If I am such a person that either Tammy is like, well, I could never go to Reverend Ray because, you know, he's so unapproachable that I can't. I want to ask him if I can't. Then it means something in how I am taking this to the street is coming across to them in a way that makes me unapproachable, which means I'm being invited to change how I show up by taking it to the street, by living it, by walking the walk, which is why we are told, regardless of your thoughts about the Bible, there's some great wisdom in there. And one thing we are told in Matthew is, by their fruit, you will recognize them. By the way they show up, you will recognize them. By their actions, you will recognize them. I don't care what you say. It matters more what you do. You could say, I love you, but do your actions demonstrate that? There are many a person suffering in domestic violence where the partner says, I love you, and yet there's violence. They tell their children, I love you, and yet there's violence. The words matter far less than the actions. And something that I learned many years ago when I was a fundamentalist Christian, be careful how you live. You very well may be the only Bible that some people ever read. In other words, the manner in which we live. Now, we're going to swap our Bible because we don't do the Bible. Be careful how you live. You may be the only loving individual that some people ever cross paths with. And when I say loving, I mean love that is unconditional. Be careful how you live. Be mindful how you live. Be mindful of how you take the teaching to the street, because you may very well be that healing agent, that transformative presence that this person has ever, you may be the one and only that they have thus far ever met. And it is by how you show up that their lives begin to change. And then they are, wait a minute, there's a whole community of people who love like this and support and have harmony and equity and justice, and where? But it's based upon how we represent, how we show up. So when we talk about this idea of the walk, how are we being, how are we living the evidence of our mental equivalence? If our mental equivalent is that of love, joy, peace, harmony, how are we being that? And how from that being are we now living that? Moment by moment, breath by breath. See, it's one thing that if, Reverend Vicky and I are, we're chilling here and, Vernon is like, hey, Vicky, invite Reverend Ray over. And, I come over and we're, chit-chatting and whatnot. And we decide to go out and get some coffee or something. And while we're driving, Vicky and Vernon notice me fussing and cussing at the cars beside us. Didn't we just leave service in a pet blessing? Why are you fussing and cussing, Reverend Ray? Are you being the embodiment of love, peace, joy? Are you living? Are you the example of that? Or is it far easier to put on the mask of love, joy, peace? And then once Sunday service is done and we, amen, and so it is, and go our separate ways, take the mask off. Now I can be my authentic self that fusses and cusses and complains. Well, wait, something is out of alignment then. Something is out of alignment. Now, that does not mean we will not occasionally get mad. We will feel angry and frustrated and lonely and scared. They are part of the spectrum of human emotions. But what it means is, because you've heard this before, we are not bound by precedent, but we are liberated by principle. So you may feel the anger, but the anger doesn't control you. You will feel the frustration, but it doesn't control you. The whatever this is does not control you. You are liberated. You are emancipated from, you don't know my kind in your world of toxic patriarchy, in your world of toxic capitalism, in your world of any of these racism, ideology, et cetera, et cetera. You don't know my kind. My kind is that of oneness and unity, of honoring and celebrating life. And because of how I choose to be in the world and live in the world, there is going to be evidence of that. So Masaru Emoto says, whenever you sit in front of water and send out messages of love and gratitude somewhere in the world, someone is being filled with love and gratitude. To which I say, yes, send out the messages and send out the messages and, but and what? And look for God in the face of the person you are talking to, right? It's that personal, interpersonal connection. Dr. Holmes says if we would look for a God or look for, that which is love itself, a God of love, then we must look long and deeply into each other. We must look away from the differences, away from the separation, away from the segregation and silos, look away from that until we penetrate into the unity of the whole, the unity of oneness. Love alone reveals love. Hate but hides the gleam. So as Dr. Emoto says, send the messages through the water, but also send the messages, as I said, send the messages, yes, and send the messages into those meetings. Send it into your comforting of another person. Send it into your conversations. Send it into your friendships. Send it into the coffee and tea that you are drinking. Send it into the dreams that you have. Send it into your vision to build and manifest a world that works for all. Send it into all of it by being it. Because if we separate it and make it this special thing that is only done here or there, then we are robbing ourselves. For example, if I said, Vicki, did you know that I only breathe on Fridays, Saturday afternoon from 2 to 4, and Sunday morning? Vicki would say, what? Yeah, that's the only time that I, set aside to breathe. What are you doing the rest of the time? Right? We breathe all the time. No matter where we are, we breathe. No matter where we are, God is. What did I say? Between me and God, there is no between. So if there is no between and there is only oneness, then how am I letting that oneness show up in all of my interactions? Breathe. So the science of mind and spirit is a way of life. It is not something you do on Sunday or some other day of the week. Science of mind and spirit is the way that we greet the day with gratitude, how we greet our neighbor with joy, how we greet life's challenges with compassion and grace, and how we greet the transition from this side of life to the next stage of life after life with peaceful surrender and curious excitement. It is how we make dinner, how we make love, and how we make amends. It is our practice. It is our gift. It is our art. It is you, and it is me. It is we. And it is evidenced in the way that we live our lives each and every day. Science of Mind is not just a book. It's our way of life. So let's breathe as we prepare for our closing treatment. Breathe. It is from this place of breath that I anchor and ground myself, that I align myself with the truth of my being. And that truth is that that which God is all there is. And as I align to this truth and know this truth and this whole truth, and only that which is this truth, I realize that because God is all there is, then this truth applies for everyone joining today. No matter where, whether live and in this Zoom room or watching the recording at that specific now moment. Right here and right now, that which is the divine is all there is. And because it is all there is, it is breathing itself as this breath. It is also that which blesses, that which is blessed. In other words, that which is the divine is that one who is conferring the blessing, is the blessing itself, and is the one receiving the blessing. All of it. There is not a spot where God is not. There is not a place where it is absent or missing. God is the inhale, the pause, the exhale, the pause. That space between the inhale and exhale, the all of it. It's all that there is. And I'm reminded of something a practitioner, Charlie Shepard, once said, because he wanted to make bumper stickers, and he said, I want to make a bumper sticker that says, "You are God, now act like it." Recognizing that I am the infinite, I am that which is, ever becoming more of itself right here and right now, in, through, and as me, in, through, and as each and every one. Love, incarnating itself. Joy, individualizing itself. Oneness, in harmonious collaboration, cooperation, and communication with itself. Not only is this life, science of mind and spirit, living itself, my life is my amen. My life is my prayer. And I know this truth for Reverend Vicki and everyone on this call. Her life is her amen. Her life is her prayer. Her life is the embodiment of science of mind and spirit, as is for all of us, right here and right now. The law says yes, but not only does the law say yes, the yes that the law offers is how the law says amen. And knowing that the law receives and acts accordingly, then I know that this isn't simply a prayer. It is the very demonstration of what answered prayer is. All are blessed. All are loved. All are loved. And because I am this that is, I live it. I breathe it. I take it to the streets, as do we all. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Ray, for many examples how to take our love and harmony and so forth to the streets. Thank you. And now it's time for our Prosperity April Prosperity Affirmation. We thank you so much for your love and support and sharing your prosperity with our Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. And you'll see ways to give in the chat, good old snail mail, and then there's good ways to do it online as well. Modern technology. And so, Reverend Vicki, will you please bless the offering, and then we'll say the affirmation together.
Thank you, Tammy. And thank you to everything about this service. You guys might think I'm kidding, but I'm telling you, this basket is vibrating as our symbol of that which is giving and receiving of the power of universal dynamic love, that all of the giving that comes from this community moves through this basket, moves through the beautiful people that we have that have held the consciousness of the financial prosperity of this community, of the prospering of this community on all levels, in all ways, in health, in harmony, in newer dynamic relationships of connection that are despite physical barriers, that are dissipated unto this word, unto community gatherings like this, where we simply say yes. We say yes to being that receptor. And as we say yes to being that receptor, so do we know that it goes forth to prosper everything that would be our wish, having turned it over to that which is so much greater than ourselves and yet all that we are. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God, for this opportunity and for the fulfillment of it in form. I release it, I let it be, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Vicki. And if everyone would please say this out loud if you'd like, or to your silently to yourself all together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Money is a gentle giant that flows through me, empowering every area of my life. And now for our April announcements. So today, after service, we're going to have our first animal blessing, and that's going to be from 12:15 to 1:15, so it's about an hour. You're going to have an opportunity to share, if you like, about animal companions you have, or just a favorite animal in the world and what you admire about that animal. You can bring pictures if you want and show it up to the screen. Or if you have your I don't know if you have your live dog there, you can show us your live animal on the camera. So Tammy and I are going to facilitate this, and it's just going to be great fun. So as Reverend Vicki was saying, we're going to close off service, and then you can come back on to the same Zoom around, if you want to come a couple minutes early, but we'll start about 12:15, and it's just going to be great fun. So please join us. And we're going to have our Zoom board meeting. That's tomorrow, Monday, April 29th. Woo, we're getting to the end of April here. And that's going to be 5:15 p.m. and that's Eastern Standard Time. Anyone is welcome to come, so you're definitely invited. And we have our men's group coming up. That's the first and third Thursdays of the month. So our next one is May 2nd, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know George and Harry and Doug, they've really enjoyed this. They just kind of get together, hang out, and talk about whatever subjects come up. So if you're a guy, come on, you're welcome. And next week's speaker, I'm happy to say that Reverend Vicki will be speaking for us on From Good to Great to Grand, the Inner Landscape.
So Tammy, I'm thinking that I'm going to say a little bit about this next opportunity, most especially because Tammy and I did not preview this part of the slide as carefully. This slide is for our first Wednesday Spiritual Connection, which most of you know happens the first Wednesday of every month. However, notice this particular slide says it's actually happening, especially in May, on Tuesday, May the 7th, instead of the first Wednesday. If it was the first Wednesday, it would be like, a couple days from now. But this is happening on the first Tuesday because our current class happens on Wednesday evenings, and so we can't do both. So please do mark your calendars for Tuesday, May the 7th, 7 p.m. We did, Dr. Gladys McGarry, I did a snippet of her last first Wednesday, and it could have gone viral. I mean, I got feedback about people wanting to hear more. Somebody went out and found the video that the 10-minute snippet came from and said, oh my goodness, everybody needs to see this. So we're going to do the full presentation that she did that the 10-minute snippet came from. And I just invite you to join us on Tuesday, May the 7th at 7 o'clock. And now we can go to the next one.
That sounds wonderful to attend that, Vicki. Thank you. And then we're also going to have, I actually asked for more of this. So thank you, Reverend Vicki, for giving us more of this. That's going to be on Conscious Aging 201 workshop. Dr. Tony LaMotta did this for us in the past. If you attended, you may have enjoyed it as much as me. And so she's going to come back on Sunday, May 19th, and it'll be from 12:15 to 2:15 after service, Eastern Standard Time. And so I hope that you can come. It's about how we can transform our beliefs and experience of aging to one of the most empowered times of our life. Let us know if you can attend, and you can just RSVP in the chat, or later on you can let Vicki, one of us, know. Hope you can come.
It's this, again, like most of our workshops, this is a $25 love offering, and you can begin participating in that part of it now if you like. Any ways that you give to Louisville Center, you're welcome to give your love offering. And the only thing, just make sure and mark it. You can even just put the word workshop. We only do one of these kind of events at a time. So you can mark it for the workshop or mark it for Aging 201. And then we'll know how to credit it toward the workshop. The important part about that is that we pay our presenters, and most of them grace us with their time and talents on just an opportunity to share. So we do like a 50-50 with them when they do these workshops most of the time. And so if you guys are able to give, even if you can't give $25, if you give $5, still, that's going to benefit our ability to do these kinds of things. And so that's the importance of making sure and marking it for what it's for. And so we can go to the next one. And this we turn over to Miss Tammy Evans.
Yes, I would like to invite you to join me in Reverend Ray's class of the 4 pivots. It's already started. It started last Monday, but we're just still reviewing the first pivot. So it's still okay to join this coming Monday, and it is a love offering. And Vicki, I don't know if we have like a
yeah, the way to do it. So there is an email that has all the details about how to get connected to the people that organize this for Ray. And if you will let me know, I will make note and I will get you that email. I actually emailed it out to most of you. And if you didn't get it, my apologies. But if I send you the email, it's a link that you click, or an email that you click, and they'll get you on the list to get the link to join. And it's at 6:30 in the evenings, Monday evenings, for about the next 7 Mondays, not to be missed, to actually do this with Reverend Ray facilitating. I've done it twice before. I would absolutely be doing it again. I'm actually sitting here trying to figure out how I could work this out for myself on Mondays this time. I'm not sure if I can do it yet, but I might try. it's really hard to get too much of this, because this is about making it real. This is about how do we do what we need to do now. And I'm so delighted that Tammy is in that room representing our community and bringing that consciousness back, regardless of whether I'm able to go. I hope as many as you who would like to will do this, because this is an extraordinary opportunity that does not have to be difficult financially. And I think I'll get off my soapbox now.
But it's a lot of fun. It's always, we call it the Ray and Tracy show. So we get here and have a good time.
Yeah, just let us know. Absolutely, let us know, and we'll get you more information. Go ahead, Tammy Ellis.
Yeah, so that was a great array of opportunities. I hope you can join us for some of those or all of them. And if you'll please stay for sharing time after the benediction, after the closing of this service. If you'd like to share about what's going on with you or anything about the service. And you'll say, I'll say on the count of 3 to each other and to yourself on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You are magnificent. Please enjoy our closing song, You Are the Light, by Denise Rosier.
You change dust into gardens, pieces into peace, tears into fountains, chains into release. You are down into action, vision renewed, perfect creation, unfolding in view. You hold on, love, heaven inside you. No matter what you go through, and if your dreams burn down to ashes, you rise again. You are the light of God, the power of prayer, lifted up. Every breath testifies you are the light. You are the light. You are the light. You hold on, love, heaven inside you. No matter what you go through, and if your dreams burn down to ashes, rise again. You are the light of God, the power of prayer, lifted up. Every breath testifies you are the light. You are the light. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, dust into gardens, pieces into peace.
And our final time for this benediction, closing out the month of April with the Happy Dance Snoopy. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. The soul that rises with us, our life star, hath had elsewhere its setting, and cometh from afar. Not in entire forgetfulness, not in unconsciousness, but trailing clouds of glory do we come from God, who is our home. Heaven lies about us in our infancy. Amen.